Just 3 minutes into class, the school beauty Yan Xiaoxi suddenly stands up and tackles you. Then she pries open your lips and starts kissing you passionately. This scene makes all the boys in class collectively lose their minds, but Yan Xiaoxi is secretly overjoyed. She buries her head in your arms. Xiao Quan, I finally found you. Turns out, Yan Xiaoxi has been reborn with you. In your past life you had a crush on her for 3 years, but due to your inferiority complex, you only dared to write this love in your diary, until years later when you met again. You finally mustered the courage to confess to her, only to see an out-of-control truck speeding toward her. Without thinking you pushed her out of the way, but you were dragged under the truck. At your funeral she knelt before your parents, swearing to care for them in place of her savior. But when she returned home with your parents, she saw your graduation photo in your room. She suddenly realized the person who saved her was her high school desk mate. Looking at the yellowed diary in her hand, she couldn't hold back her tears. This fool had loved her for so long. Such a coward. If I could do it all over again, I'd be the one to chase you. She lay quietly on your bed, crying all night. The next morning, nearly fainting, she heard the familiar sound of a lecture. She rubbed her sore, tearful eyes and slowly sat up. Turning her head, a familiar face came into view. Instantly, her eyes turned red. She threw herself into your arms without hesitation. You were completely confused. 1 second ago you were hit by a truck. The next you're back in your senior year. And what's with Xiaoxi in your arms? Before you could figure it out, the homeroom teacher Tianhui's furious roar echoed. Xiao Quan, sleeping in class is bad enough, but you're even flirting with your desk mate? The boys in class shot you angry glares. Xiao Quan, you look so honest. I thought you were a good guy. How dare you publicly assault our goddess Yan Xiaoxi? You must have eaten a leopard's courage. Let her go if you dare. Let me come and witness your heart's despair. This is absolutely outrageous. You quickly pushed Xiaoxi away and explained, teacher, I think this is a misunderstanding. It was Yan Xiaoxi who hugged me first. At this moment Xiaoxi was crying tears of joy. Looking at you with teary eyes she spoke excitedly. Teacher Tianhui's voice trembled with rage. You even made Yan cry? Get out and stand in the hall. Stand there for half an hour. You felt like you were falling apart. I didn't do anything. Clearly I'm the victim here. But seeing the class's piercing glares, helpless you walked out. Just then, Xiaoxi's voice rang out. Wait, teacher, you misunderstood. What happened has nothing to do with Xiao Quan. I hugged him on my own, that's all. The room instantly fell silent. The classmates' eyes nearly popped out. What? Yan Xiaoxi hugged Xiao Quan on her own? That's impossible. The teacher didn't believe it either. Yan, you don't need to cover for Xiao Quan. Tell the truth boldly. The teacher will get justice for you. It's not a cover-up. I had a nightmare and woke up scared. It really isn't Xiao Quan's fault. The class suddenly understood. I knew Xiao Quan didn't have the guts. So it was just Yan Xiaoxi waking from a nightmare. No wonder she panicked and grabbed someone to hug. Teacher Tianhui's expression softened. It's fine then. Sit down, Xiao Quan. Pay attention in class. Don't let me catch you bullying Yan again. You gave a bitter smile and shook your head. The difference in treatment is just too much. The storm passed. The classroom returned to calm. Xiaoxi, sitting beside you, slightly tilted her body, propping her cheeks with her hands, staring at you with fascination. How did I not notice how handsome he is? Thank goodness the heavens gave me this chance. Now I have plenty of time to get closer to him. Thinking of this, Xiaoxi's ears even turned red, but you only felt a chill down your spine. You quickly turned your head and saw Xiaoxi staring right at you. You touched your face, asking, is there something on my face? As soon as you spoke, Teacher Tianhui's furious roar came from the podium. Xiao Quan, what are you up to now? Before you could speak, a jealous classmate from behind raised his hand and said, Teacher, I know. Xiao Quan was just staring at Yan with creepy eyes. You felt like you were falling apart again. This time you explained with all your might, swearing to the heavens, making grand oaths, barely convincing the skeptical teacher to let you off. Sitting back down you were fuming, glancing at the culprit. Xiaoxi, like a perfect student, was focused on the lesson, as if she hadn't been staring at you, making you wonder, was that just a hallucination? Little did you know, Xiaoxi was secretly delighted, but she also realized though she was reborn, she needed to be careful to hide it. After all, in everyone's eyes at school, she was always the aloof, icy school beauty. Becoming too warm too suddenly might scare her adorable savior. My desk mate is mine anyway. I'll take my time savoring him. But Xiaoxi couldn't pretend for long. She couldn't help sneaking glances at you. The more I look, the more I like him. What to do? His face is so fair and soft. It looks so pinchable. I want to tease this shy, introverted puppy. I can't take it anymore. Since earlier you kept feeling a chill down your back. But every time you turned around, Xiaoxi turned away with astonishing speed, becoming the cold, proud goddess again. When you turned back, that feeling of being prey returned. After a few rounds of this, you couldn't take it anymore. You wrote a note and passed it to Xiaoxi's sister. What exactly do you want? Xiaoxi, pretending to be aloof, glanced at the note, then wrote a line and pushed it back. Focus on class. Don't pass notes. Looking at the words on the note, you felt speechless, while the outwardly cold Xiaoxi was inwardly bursting with joy. Oh no, what to do? My heart's melting. He called me sister. The class finally ended. You rushed to the hallway relieved, breathing in fresh air, calming yourself. Just then your buddy Li Shunfeng came over, giving you a thumbs up. Quan, you're amazing, even daring to flirt with Yan Xiaoxi. I'm impressed. You looked at him speechlessly. If I said she made the first move, would you believe me? Shunfeng thought you were being modest, quickly said it's fine. Not catching Yan Xiaoxi is normal. At least it's better than being Yu Xian's lapdog. Hearing that name you froze. It seems high school did have a dark romantic history. Just then, a voice called out, Xiao Quan, I want to eat ice cream with Qianqian. Go buy some for us. The entitlement in her tone made you sick. That was the past lives. You, who would have been thrilled to jump off a building to buy it. But now, you decided to refuse politely. Are you crazy? Buy it yourself. I'm busy. Hearing this, Yu Xian froze, thinking she misheard. She quickly put on a pitiful wronged look. But I can't run that far. You looked down at her smooth shapely legs under her shorts. You couldn't help but admire nice legs. Yu Xian, caught off guard, said excitedly, so you're agreeing to help? You continued, with legs like those, you must run fast. Believe in yourself. You can do it. Yu Xian was stunned. This time she heard clearly, gritting her teeth, as if making a huge decision. Xiao Quan, if you go buy it now, at noon I'll eat with you, she said with a smug look. In the past, whenever she said this, you'd eagerly agree to her requests, using your own money. You looked at her in shock. You even want to mooch off my lunch money? Yu Xian felt her mind buzzing. A wave of shame and anger surged within her. In a panic, she blurted out, if you don't go, my promise to consider holding your hand is off. She looked at you smugly. You chuckled lightly. Don't worry, I'm not going. With a disdainful look, I'm reborn now. My first time holding a girl's hand is such an important moment. How could I let a manipulative girl's dirty hand ruin it? Beside her, Qianqian was furious. Xiao Quan, do you not understand human language? Yu Xian said, if you don't buy the ice cream, you might never hold her hand in this lifetime. Her voice was loud, drawing the attention of nearly everyone in the hallway. At that moment, a cold, melodious voice rang out. He understands perfectly. It's you two who don't get it. Xiao Quan said he's not going. Yet you keep pestering him. Don't you feel ashamed? Yan Xiaoxi strode over with her long legs, like an empress descending. Each step seemed to stomp on the hearts of the onlookers. The surrounding students widened their eyes, staring in disbelief at the sudden appearance of Yan Xiaoxi. My gosh! Is Yan Xiaoxi standing up for Xiao Quan? On the surface, the cold Xiaoxi was inwardly furious. The man I've chosen is someone you can touch? Seeing Yan Xiaoxi appear, a giant question mark appeared above your head. After some quick thinking, you concluded she must have a grudge against Yu Xian. Caught off guard by the situation, in front of Xiaoxi, Yu Xian was outclassed in looks and background, but with so many students watching, she didn't want to lose face. She met Xiaoxi's gaze defiantly. I was talking to Xiao Quan. What's it to you? Xiaoxi walked to your side and said calmly, I'm his desk mate. And you? What are you to him? Yu Xian froze. She couldn't say you were her lapdog. A spark of inspiration hit her. To stand up to Xiaoxi, she went all out. We're good friends, the kind who can hold hands. Xiaoxi sneered. Oh, just holding hands, and he has to run errands for you? Her words made Yu Xian's face flush red. Xiaoxi ignored her. Looking at you, she said, keep your eyes sharp. Don't make friends with shady, opportunistic people. She paused as if remembering something, then added lightly also, if you really want to hold a girl's hand, you can hold mine. No errands needed, it's free. Her words stunned everyone. But what shocked them even more was that their goddess placed her hand in your palm. You were completely dumbfounded. But the cool sensation in your hand told you this was real. Then you heard your desk mate's voice, cold as always, say, class is starting, let's go back. So like a soulless puppet, you were led back to the classroom by Xiaoxi. The boys in the hallway, just snapping out of it, let out wails of despair. Back in class, you and Xiaoxi returned to your seats. You looked at her awkwardly, recalling your past life. What was all this about? There was no such plot in the last life. Noticing your confusion, Xiao said coldly, don't misunderstand. I just couldn't stand that girl. Holding hands is no big deal. Don't take it to heart. Though she said this, Xiao was inwardly ecstatic. I held my deskmate's hand. So sweet. His first hand-holding was mine. Woohoo. You seen that green tea manipulator get lost. Xiao noticed your puzzled look, and continued, any more questions? You nodded honestly, yes. We're already back in class. Can you let go of my hand now? You glanced at your hand still held by her. Xiao remained calm, casually letting go. Sorry. I forgot. But inwardly she felt a bit disappointed. Oh no, he noticed. I wanted to hold on longer, with your hand free. You breathed a sigh of relief. Not that you wanted to be a jerk, but you were scared to death. Teacher Tian Hui had been patrolling outside. You were worried she'd see and yell at you again after class started. Out of courtesy you wrote a note, thanks. Xiao glanced at it and casually wrote back, how will you thank me? You froze. You were just being polite. But this school beauty wasn't holding back. How to thank her? In my last life I gave my life for you. Why don't you think about thanking me? Forget it. That was the past life. Besides, she wasn't reborn, so she wouldn't know. You scribbled on the note and passed it back. How do you want me to thank you? Be careful. Xiao's lips curved into a barely noticeable smile. She quickly wrote a line and pushed it back. Call me sister. Seeing those words, you nearly choked on your own saliva. You couldn't help but look at your desk mate. She was still focused, staring at the history teacher Li Fu on the podium, listening attentively. It was hard to imagine. This icy school beauty had such a quirk. You wrote another note and passed it back. No way, pick something else. Xiao glanced at the note and quickly wrote back. Then treat me to lunch. You stared at the note. Why do I feel like I'm being played? Meanwhile, Xiao's lips curved slightly. Got you, little guy. You finally made it to the end of class. Li Shunfeng rushed over. Leaning in he said, Quan, you're on fire today. First you were assaulted by the school beauty, then she held your hand. If she eats with you too, I'll really believe you two are dating. It's the weekend, we gotta celebrate. My treat. Just as he finished, a beautiful voice cut in. Xiao, let's go eat. She pointed at Li Shunfeng beside you. Didn't Shunfeng say he's treating? Xiao frowned slightly, looking at Li Shunfeng. You're treating? Though her expression didn't change, the air around seemed to drop a few degrees, but the oblivious Li Shunfeng nodded eagerly. Eating with the school beauty is an honor. I'll treat. Halfway through he froze, because he saw Yan Xiao's emotionless gaze. Li Shunfeng suddenly shivered, his voice trembling. Am I treating or not? Xiao said calmly, you're not. Li Shunfeng nodded like a pecking chick. Right, I'm not treating you too. I forgot, my mom's having her second kid today. I gotta go find my dad. With that, Li Shunfeng turned and bolted. You stared, dumbfounded, at his retreating figure. Xiao looked at you smugly. Let's eat. You swallowed hard. Let's go. At the stairwell corner, Shunfeng sneakily poked his head out to look. No way, they're really together. The cafeteria at noon was packed, and along the way, you didn't know how many death glares you got. Xiao frowned too. She just wanted to eat alone with you. Let's eat at the school gate. You nodded fine, but you felt helpless. Noticing your distraction, Xiao leaned closer. What's wrong? Wanna hold hands again? Your head snapped up, shaking it like a rattle. No, I don't want to be beaten to death by jealous guys right after being reborn. Thinking this, you turned and fled toward the school gate. Xiao, trailing behind, pouted slightly, showing a hint of regret. But the next second she smiled brightly. It's fine. Teasing him is pretty fun. You arrived at a small diner across from the school. You found an empty table and sat down. Xiao ordered lamb fried rice, but you felt a heavy pressure. As a student with a 150 yuan weekly allowance, after last weekend you only had 30 yuan left. I'll have a tomato and egg rice bowl. Xiao glanced at you. So plain? Don't you eat meat? You sighed. It's fine. I'm allergic to meat. But in your heart you thought, I'm allergic to expensive. Xiao didn't buy it. She immediately ordered a beef rice bowl and 2 colas. Eat more meat, you're still growing, she said coldly. Your body's mine in the future. You better take care of it. You were covered in goosebumps. She really doesn't care about spending my money. Soon the food arrived. Xiao took a sip of her drink and casually said, most of your weekly allowance went to Yuxian, didn't it? You coughed violently, nearly choking on your cola. How do you know? Xiao smirked inwardly. From your diary, of course. But on the surface she said calmly, lots of people at school know. I heard it from someone. What? My days as a lapdog were already public knowledge. Seeing your expression, Xiao thought, no way. I finally got my man back. I can't let a manipulator steal him. She cleared her throat and started educating you. At your age, boys having vague desires and pursuits for the opposite sex is understandable, but boys need to protect themselves too. The world of relationships is dangerous. As you listened, a giant question mark formed above your head. Something's off with this school beauty. Why's my desk mate suddenly lecturing me? Not convinced. Think you're too smart to be fooled? You chuckled silently, obviously. I'm a reborn guy. 18 years old with a 30-year-old soul. What storms haven't I seen? A mere school beauty dares to lecture me? Before you could speak, Xiao said calmly, first semester of sophomore year, Xian called you Quan. And you were so smitten you gave her a month's allowance to buy her a celebrity album. Last winter break, she said, Quan, you're like a knight, and you rode a bike every day to deliver her love-filled breakfasts for half a month. This New Year's she said she'd consider holding your hand, and you excitedly handed over 2 months' food money. As she recounted your lapdog history, you were completely stunned. How does she know all this in such detail? I barely remember it myself. Xiao looked at you haughtily. Want me to keep going? Convinced yet? I've read every page of a certain someone's diary. You were so embarrassed you wanted to crawl into a hole. I'm convinced, totally convinced. But how do you know all this? Lots of people know. I heard it from someone. Damn, another blow. Seeing you like this. Xiao's face flashed a smile before returning to cold. Now you know. Promise me, don't fall for anyone's tricks anymore. Stay away from girls like that. You nodded bitterly. Absolutely. Xiao was pleased with your attitude. Boys your age need to focus. Studying hard and getting into a good university is the main task at this stage. You're right. Xiao looked at you approvingly, and if Xian comes to you again, ignore her. You nodded silently. Got it. And if other girls want to hang out with you, learn to say no. You kept nodding. Sure. If any girls in class or in our grade show interest, report to me immediately. Mission accepted. Wait, what did you just say? You looked at Xiao suspiciously. If a girl's interested in me, why do I need to report to you? Xiao remained calm and composed. Because I'm the class president. I'm responsible for monitoring classmates' study focus. You were covered in black lines. Is that even a thing? A goddess like Xiao doesn't need to lie about something like this. What's her motive? Thinking this, you felt a bit touched. So you looked at Xiao and sincerely said thanks. Xiao remained cool and composed. You're welcome. So how will you thank me? Your heartfelt moment was cut short. How do you want me to thank you? Xiao seemed to ponder casually for a moment. Then call me sister. Because I'm the class president. I'm responsible for supervising the study focus of classmates, so it doesn't get affected. You're covered in black lines. Is there even such a rule? A goddess like her really doesn't need to lie about something like this to deceive me. What could she possibly want? Thinking of this, you feel a bit touched. So you look at Xiao in front of you and sincerely say thank you. Xiao remains cool and composed as always. You're welcome. So how will you thank me? The heartfelt moment you were building up gets stifled halfway. How do you want me to thank you? Xiao seems to casually consider for a moment. Then call me sister.